Finally, we are back in the present timeline. Is this the beginning of Luffy's fight against Imu-sama? Spoilers for the upcoming chapter 1171 are already out, and according to the leaks, the title of this chapter is Ragnir. From the title alone, we can already tell that Ragnir, Loki's hammer, will play a very important role in this chapter. The first major spoiler says that Imu suffered a backlash because of Harald's defeat at the hands of Loki. Because of this backlash, Imu decided not to take revenge anymore and also refused to call for backup from another holy knight. This information gives us a very important hint. Could this be the answer to Imu-sama's weakness? As we all know, the situation between Harald and Xebec was completely different. If you remember, Xebec was directly infused with Imu's dome reverse. This means Imu was not directly controlling Xebec's body. Xebec's body was moving on its own because of the spell. That's why we saw a physical transformation in Xebec, but in Harald's case, he was never dome reversed. That's why Harald's physical appearance never changed. The only difference is that Imu was directly controlling Harald's body, like a puppet. So the key difference here is, Xebec is not directly controlled. Harald is directly controlled by Imu. Now, if we connect this to the spoiler saying that Imu suffered backlash, it means that Imu took damage himself. Since Imu was directly controlling Harald, any damage done to the puppet is reflected back to Imu, and this is very important, because right now in Elbaf, Imu is controlling Gunko. So it is safe to assume that if Luffy and the others defeat Gunko, that damage will directly affect Imu-sama as well. This is just a theory, but it makes a lot of sense. Moving on to the next spoiler, before leaving, Imu said that Elbaf will never become an ally of the world government, because this country is connected to the people who carry the letter D. This information was actually hinted at earlier in the Elbaf arc. If you remember the ancient mural that Frankie saw, it clearly showed the giant standing on the side of the sun god. This confirms that the giants have always supported the D clan, even since ancient times. Because of this, we can now understand why Imu hated Elbaf so much. Even though the giants are extremely powerful and could be very useful to the world government, Imu could never accept them as allies. Why? Because the giants fought against him 800 years ago. The only reason Imu even slightly agreed to work with Harald was because Harald kept pushing for it. But in the end, Imu still betrayed Harald, proving that his hatred toward Elbaf never disappeared. Next spoiler confirms something big. Loki's flashback is officially over, and the story has returned to the present timeline. In the present, Hadrudin apologizes to Loki and finally frees him. This moment might look small, but it is actually very underrated and very emotional. If you remember, Harald always told his sons to support and protect each other. Now Hadrudin finally knows the truth. He understands that Loki was never truly evil. He was just misunderstood by everyone. This reconciliation between the brothers is powerful. If Harald and Ida were alive, they would definitely be proud of both of them. While this emotional moment is happening, a Nidhoggr suddenly falls from above. As we know, Nidhoggrs are nightmare monsters. And since Luffy's group already sensed danger in the Sun World back in chapter 1151, they immediately realize that something is very wrong. Luffy and the others are ready to rush upward to help their crew, but Loki stops them. He tells them that he will handle the Nidhoggr himself. Loki also says that he is capable of flying, so Luffy doesn't need to worry and can move ahead. But instead of leaving, Luffy chooses to stay and watch Loki fight. This statement from Loki, that he can fly, is strong evidence supporting the theory that Loki has a devil fruit, possibly Ryu no Mi, model, Nidhoggr. For those who follow our channel, you already know that we made a detailed theory video about this devil fruit. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend checking it out. Now, the final spoiler, Loki attacks the Nidhoggr using a flame-based attack, while wielding Ragnir, his hammer. The result of this attack is shocking. The Nidhoggr gets frozen. Luffy personally witnesses this entire scene, and he is completely amazed by Loki's strength. The freezing ability most likely comes from Ragnir itself, not Loki's devil fruit. As explained in our Loki devil fruit theory, Loki's lightning powers come from his devil fruit, not from Ragnir. So the freezing ability being highlighted, especially with the chapter titled Ragnir, strongly suggests that this hammer is alive and has its own powers. As for Luffy watching instead of fighting, this is nothing new. We saw the same thing during the Wano arc, when Luffy calmly watched Momonosuke fight Admiral Green Bull. Luffy enjoys watching others grow stronger, especially when he senses their potential. So that wraps up our spoiler review for One Piece chapter 1171. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, because it really helps our channel a lot. And of course, subscribe for more One Piece content. That's all for now.